You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this will be a piece of cake.
Folks, welcome to the Before Hours podcast, an internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person. I ask the most interesting people I know about their sleep, their routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks. If you want to write to us, you may do so in one of two ways. Email the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com or slide into my DMs on Instagram, Bobby Sheen, LOL. LOL, because you know I bring the laughter. But for now, we got a fellow comedian, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, a good man, Devin Lake. How you doing, Devin?
Thank you. I'm very good. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was
dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, now the rest of it is just we're winging it.
That is insane that the rest is winging it.
Yeah.
That was the most, oh my God. And not even how you started before. You were like, it's really chill. It's like, whatever. It's like kind of goofy. That was 2004 Z100, like
Yeah.
Elvis Duran. Like, that was perfect. That was great.
I suspect I would be a great radio host in the early aughts. Yeah.
I suspect you. I suspect you'd be a lot of things. I saw you show up to an open mic once, and you devoted your time. You found a guitar in the room. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Because someone had brought a guitar.
You came early, and everyone was talking for like 15 minutes, and then when we finally got in, and then you discovered the guitar. And it was like, I'm assuming it was unplanned. You weren't planning on.
Yeah.
You sang for like 4 minutes straight, and you were like, all right, I'll see you later. Man, it was just like the legend, Bob.
I like doing like silly stuff like that at mics because I feel like, I don't know if this was quite the situation that time, but sometimes, I mean, you ever been to an open mic in New York and you're like, well, this is a waste of my time?
Everyone. Most. The moment I sit down till I get up, it's like, it's a waste of time. My whole life.
And for anybody that's been to an open mic not in New York or LA, because a lot of open mics in, to use a condescending phrase, middle America, there are a lot of regular people that are just having a nice time, and the comics are even excited about it. There's this weird culture in New York, and I'm going to assume also LA. I've actually never been there, but where it's like, well, we're all doing this very important thing. And if I laugh at anybody, it's actually a sign of weakness.
Yes.
It's this weird competitive thing. And I think being competitive is fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to, if someone says a joke, you have to laugh.
I think there's a misconception, and there's like two thoughts going on. I really don't think a lot of people are as like, have the capability to look inside themselves and kind of know that. I get what you mean about the weakness thing. I think it is that. But I also think like there is some self-importance. People do think, well, I should be at a show right now. Why am I still doing mics? And there's no like etiquette. There's no like theater etiquette. I have like a bit of a theater background, so I feel like I was taught how you're supposed to behave in certain instances. And even in those classes, like, you're on stage and you're doing your monologue and you're doing your scene with your partner. But when you're in the audience, you are an audience member. So I feel the same for comedy. Like, why are you coming to an open mic to be a snooty comic in the crowd? Now you're an audience member. And when you get on stage, you'll be the comic. And great, you could be whoever you want. But when you're in the audience, laugh. Like you said. And they don't, I haven't been to LA either, but they do not do that in New York. It's exactly what you said. Everyone should feel like they should be in a better place, and they refuse to laugh.
My thing is, when I'm in the room, I'm as present as I could possibly be. I do leave immediately after I'm done, though, which I didn't used to do, but I've been doing it for X amount of years now, and I'm like, yeah, I can't physically handle.
I stick around with new pals. Like, if I made a new friend there,
Oh,
you know
okay,
what I mean?
yeah.
And he's a little bit later in the lineup, like, I'll stick around. But if it's just the same schmucks I've seen the last 8 mics, like, I don't need to see you try your dick bit again, you know?
You know what's a pet peeve of mine is when you're talking about comics sitting in the audience watching the open mic, is like when I'm performing, and they'll just very analytically like nod their head like, oh, I see the structure of that joke.
Yeah.
It feels condescending.
I am guilty of that.
Oh,
I am
okay.
that guy because I feel like nothing is surprising anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm very numb. I heard did you ever see that interview between Jeselnik and the weird lady who voices Louise from Bob's Burgers?
Oh, Kristen Bell? Kristen Bell?
So. Bell? No. Something.
Connor, can you look that up for us?
Fucking that lady. She argued with him. His whole idea was comedy is about surprise. And she was like, no, because you have like this performance type of comedy, like, and she gave an example, and then his retort was like, yeah, but the funny part is that no one expected you to do the goofy thing. So
Yeah.
like, so I feel like when I am listening in the back of the mic and someone does have a punch that I didn't expect, it is like, oh, haha.
Yeah.
But I'm not invested in the story or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the setup was, because like I see the mechanics. It could have been a dog, it could have been a hamster, it could have been a, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these things don't matter. It's the reveal. So yeah, it is condescending, but like it's hard not to condescend the same magic trick you've seen the last like 8 years.
Yeah, that is true. Kristen Bell. Kristen Shaw. Kristen Bell is the lady from The Good Place. Kristen Shaw.
You said ball, so it was close.
Ball, Bell,
Shaw.
Ball.
There you go.
Kristen Ball has, and I haven't been able to find, if someone can find it, please like link it in the comments or whatever. There's a bit that she does that really, and I was watching it alone in my room, which is when I'm the least likely to laugh at something. Because when you're not in a group of people and you're watching at home, that's like two things going against.
Yep.
Like really only like Louis can make me laugh in that context.
That's funny, yeah.
You know what I mean? But she goes, there's ghosts in my apartment. And no one believes me, but there's ghosts in my apartment and I have proof. And she pulls out cotton balls and starts throwing them at the audience and goes, then why is there ghost poop everywhere? If there's ghost poop, then there has to be ghosts. And it's just like the dumbest thing imaginable. But I think it may have pulled me out of a depression.
That's good. I get what you mean. Even the alone thing too, like I think only like Giannis Pappas' last special, that was probably the last thing I watched alone where I was like roaring, laughing. And like I didn't need that, like, you know, the laugh bouncing off the audience member. Fucking Kristen Ball? Who is she? Oh.
Kristen Shaw. Kristen Bell is the pretty blonde lady from The Good Place. And Kristen Shaw is the
Is that who you were just talking about? The ghost poop?
No, ghost poop is the Bob's Burger ladies, is Kristen Shaw.
Wonderful. Yes. Okay, then yes. That's right up her
Yeah.
alley. Yeah,
Who, if you're listening, Miss Shaw, I'm sorry I forgot your name, but please DM me. There's no way.
For what?
To
work?
Yes. To write together.
Oh. Yeah. I've dated a comic before, but I've never been the wait after the open mic and like, you're really funny. Do you want to go like?
So I listen, the listeners know how horny I am. But
They do.
What a terrifying thing to say. Oh, that makes it sound like I fucked everyone that listens to the podcast, which
No,
I do appreciate you listening.
I thought you're saying most of this has been a manifesto about your sexual exploits.
That too, dude. I mean, listen, and I know my dad listens, but if he's gonna listen to my podcast, he's gonna learn some things about his boy. But honestly, like I am so team do not shit where you eat that I would never hit on a comedian.
You can tell you're not Hispanic.
Yeah, that's what gave it away.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I've met ginger Hispanics, but like fucking, and I mean, you're the size of a Mexican, so like
that is true. And in their culture, I'm actually quite tall.
big time,
Yeah.
big time. They would call you alto.
See, Devin, I've dated a Latina woman, more than one actually, and I will because they're so beautiful, but they don't clock me as being short. Because they're used to dating other Latino men.
Yeah.
But am I not romantic enough for them?
Really?
If they caught me in my early 20s, I'd like that. I'd be like, this is my wife. But I mean, we're roughly the same age, dude. Now it's like not cynicism, but like there's a realisticness to my expectations now.
What do you mean?
Like, I go on a date with a girl and we vibe.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we'll see if there's a second date, what it will be like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, on a first date, you're meeting the best version of someone. And at some point, there's going to be a reveal.
Yeah.
And that's going to let you know, can I deal with this or not? You know what I mean?
Right.
My stuff is real early on, mostly because like we were talking about, I'm sober. So that comes up on the first date. I don't bring it up before the first date, but usually my MO is we get something to eat. And then if we're really vibing, we'll go to a bar. Yeah. And then we go to the bar, I order a Diet Coke. And then that's when the conversation is going to come up because it's weird, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, I quit drinking 8 years ago. It's okay if you drink. I like hanging out at bars, but I don't drink at all. And I used to drink a lot, and it was a problem. And then they have hung out with me for like over an hour now. So they're like, oh, okay, he doesn't read crazy person immediately.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? He's dealing with it.
Yeah.
But there's something a little wrong with his brain. And that to me is like, okay, well, there's my shit.
But what
right?
about the romance? You said you can't be romantic.
Oh, that's how we got on this topic. Yeah, I feel like also because when I was a young man and I would fall into infatuation like very quickly, especially because like in my early 20s I had a baby face. I had a pudge in a way that like gave lesbian trucker vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It wasn't masculine. Like, and I had a shaved head and like a bloated face, and I'm just setting the scene for you. So I would fall into infatuation very quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't do the wait X amount of time to text. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would
Yes,
the
yes, I
very
do know what you
next
mean.
the morning after I'd be like, I had such a fun time. Which okay, I didn't have the language for this yet.
Right.
But that is beta behavior. You know what I mean? But here's the thing about Latina women.
Yeah.
They want you to kind of simp for them a little bit.
Yeah.
They want a tiny bit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I was dating this one woman from Colombia, and we had a first date. It went well. It didn't go phenomenally well,
Yeah.
but it went well. That means we didn't have sex. But
Did you graze her butt slightly?
no, just mouth, tongue stuff.
It was cool.
It was fun.
That's nice.
Yeah, that like honestly, try to kiss on the first date because I'm like, what if we're really vibing and she has terrible halitosis? You know, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Been there. High school, but been there. Yeah.
On which end?
I've never had halitosis. Fucking great teeth. This girl though, I had like, she gave me migraines. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, I could feel her. I had to. I've purged, but like, I had to like purge my saliva because it mixed with hers, and it was like giving me a migraine. Like,
Oh,
that's how bad
fuck.
her breath was. Like, I was like, I have to stop. I circled the block. I left the backyard I was in, and I can still feel like me trying to like squeeze out my taste buds in the back of my mouth just to get this girl spit out of my head.
Yeah.
Like, she's like awful. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so you should kiss on the first date.
Should kiss on the first date, I think. And also, it's like, even if you're getting the vibe, like, okay, she kind of wants to take it easy. You don't want to, like, at a certain point, it's going to be like, are we colleagues now? You know,
Yeah.
You end the second date without any physical touch. You're like, are we associates?
Yeah, if I don't fuck on the first, well, I haven't. I've been in a relationship for like 4 or 5 years now. But back when I was on Demon Time, I would sex on the first date was the goal.
Oh,
Yeah, like all the time. And if it didn't happen, that just let me know that one, she wasn't taking me seriously, which may be wrong, and two, she was like now like third on my roster list. You know
whoa!
what I mean?
Oh, a roster.
Yeah, yeah.
You dog, Devin.
Yeah, I don't think if you're single you should be going one by one. And not even on some player shit, just you know, you throw more cards on the ground, more cards are gonna hit the ground. So like,
yeah.
why go one by one? And that helped, even with my lady now, like when I found her, I felt like my whole life I was waiting for her. So when she came, I just cut all the other hoes off. So like that was fine. And she's also Hispanic, and even though she didn't like knowing I had like women before me,
Right.
I think she does like the idea that I told everyone else to fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like there is that kind of. I even find like some sex, like black women want loyalty, of course, but like they don't want a dude that can't get girls. You know what I'm saying? And even like what you were saying, like the polite text the next morning thing. I think like a lot of women I've met, like black girls too, like if you weren't a black nerd, you kind of like this dude who's almost like treating you like he's not interested. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where I found like weird black anime chicks are kind of just talking to me like Spanish girls. You know what I'm saying? So like I do think it changes the culture. And even like I've talked to Spanish girls from their country and girls who were just born here, and even that difference is like insane. Like
Okay.
yeah, just taking out like a lot more conservative values from the Colombian chick. And then I didn't know how liberal I was until like I found my Colombian that was like, okay, but like do you think you could pay this bill for me for like a month? And I'm like, what a weird, like, specific request. But this just tells me that other men you've dealt with have, like, enabled this.
Dude, I went on a date with a girl from Kazakhstan. I think I told the story on the podcast before. But we were vibing on the first date, and I tried to kiss her, and she was like, "Oh no, not yet." And I feel nothing when that happens. You know what I mean? I don't feel embarrassed. I'm like, that's cool. I misinterpreted the vibe. We could still hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're such different people.
Well, I think it's doing crazy stuff like reciting the Gettysburg Address on stage when I'm supposed to be doing stand up and having people look at me like, what the hell is happening? Like I've Eric Andre'd my way into low neuroticism.
Well, that's what you're saying. You're good at the barking because you're not fearing rejection.
Yeah. We were talking about that off mic that when I used to like, hey, free comedy show outside the club, I wouldn't care if people were like, why are you talking to me? I'd be like, this is how I get stage time.
That breaks me.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, really?
I'm a wreck. Like I'm like close to tears, even like thinking about it, like barking and then getting that, nah, bro. And then just someone walks off and like goes on with their life. And like, I can't handle it. Like even talking about it now, just like, I hate even using the word anxiety, but like it breaks me. Like I can't do it.
Now, would you say you're agreeable? Is that where that comes from?
Am I agree? In what sense?
Like, I think of being agreeable as like you like disliking confrontation, wanting like valuing cooperation over competition, get along to get along. You know what I mean?
No, I think I'm more like I'm interested in like fairness and even playing.
Okay.
So like if I'm on stage and I bomb, that's fair. You know what I mean? It's them. In a way, it's them versus me, and I didn't come with what I needed to, so that's fine. But like, it's not an even playing when I'm like begging you to come in here. It's almost like I got a handicap, so like that I can't handle. No, I don't know why. And even like the rejection of the kiss, I'd be like, ooh, I even thinking about it, like what the fuck? Oh my god, what? Like, okay, I'm gonna dap you up the rest of the night.
Yeah,
like, that's cool.
Well, for me, because I've been like early in my dating history, I would be like, which I think is a good impulse to have, but it could be like hijacked in a bad way, which is like, I'd want to be respectful. Right. So I'm like, but what I didn't realize is that most women, not all, hashtag not all women, but most women want you to take charge in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a minority of women that are going to kiss you first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just have to do it. So in that, the few situations, because it happens less and less, I think, because like as you get older, you pick up on vibes better.
Yeah.
But like when that does happen, I'm like, good for me for trying. Good for me giving it the old college try.
Yeah, I think.
And we are on a date, to be clear. It's not like we're at a board meeting.
Okay, so then I fucked up then. No. So then we differ again, because if you're out in the world, I think that's dead. Like seeing a woman on the subway and you both give a look and then like you're like, hey, like whatever.
And you're like, it's not gonna suck itself, bitch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost
that's
like dead.
The diet version of
the
that.
matriarchy.
You know what I mean? It sucks. But I do feel women longing for that. Like I've passed women on the subway in my life, and like we had these little moments, and then I thought like, I know she wants me to go over there. I know she wants me to.
Okay.
But then I think like, what is this circumstance to where like what plays out? Because if it goes no, then I'm just like a lady. I'm just like a guy accosting a lady on the train. I'm just like approaching her. I'm this big brooding force over her shoulder. I got to take a walk of shame back to the other end of the cart. Like it's not what I don't know. Yeah, I know. But then on the date, good for you for giving the college try. Like I guess like I get that. But again, like I would try to kiss before the first date. Like it's like, I think like you got to get that shit out of the way like so early, because I feel like that's the least of it. Like
okay.
I find the same thing. Like I want a girl to know I'm crazy early too. Like if anything, I'm my worst self on any first date. Like I am like a roast battle judge on a first date.
Okay.
Like I am just like awful, so that when you get the best of me, like it'll be appreciated. Like that's how I would go about it.
Okay.
Yeah, word. I think maybe you should try that for a little while.
Interesting. I don't know. Because I haven't, I've literally, except for this girl from Kazakhstan, I've never got a bad rejection, right? You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh, not yet," and I'd be like, it's all good." And that's almost a green flag if we could like laugh off the awkwardness of that and like keep having a convo. But this girl, and the reason I brought it up is because you reminded me, that you when you were single, you were texting, or a girl would text you like, "Can you pay this month's bill?"
Yeah.
So, and again, there's a cultural difference because she's from Kazakhstan. And she was like, "We're on a first date." And I'm like, "I didn't ask you to like come back to my place. I just tried to kiss you." You know what I mean? And she's like, "I went on a lot of dates with this guy and we didn't have sex and we didn't kiss. He really liked me and he even helped me pay for some of my college." And I was like, "I want to find out where this man lives and beat the shit out of him."
Yeah.
Or at least find out where he lives and get an inflatable rat and blow it up outside of his apartment. You know what I mean? Because he's making it harder for the rest of us, dude. What are you doing?
Or join the clan. See what he's doing like in his life. See if you can hop on board in the fam. Like,
dude, maybe, I mean, if he's that desperate for pussy, maybe he's that desperate for platonic friendships. Maybe I could be like, "Hey, bro, you want to hang out? First, I got some student loans I need paid off."
You could salt burn him.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Just show up, drink his bathwater, fucking fuck his mom, make his sister kill himself. Did I spoiler alert the whole movie for you? Is that how spoiler alerts work?
It's funnier having not seen the movie. That I love the 5-second review of that. So
that is all that happens in that movie. That's it.
And you're a theater guy.
Yeah, big time.
So walk me through that. Did you study it in college?
Yeah. I did 4 years. I learned a couple methods. It was really kind of like a wide casting net on what we were trying to take back as far as Meisner and Stanislavski. And I think my real focus towards my junior and senior year was like Shakespeare. I was like just breaking that down, and I was real cool with the language. And honestly, I think it really helped me with the stand-up.
Okay.
Time. Like, I don't know if you heard this when you first started out, like your first 5 years is just learning how to be on stage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there is something to that. I spent 4 years like immediately in front of like 500 to 1,000 people, even if it was like, last tree to the left, you know what I'm saying? Like breaking that ice of like, this is what it's like to be in front of the masses. And that helped. So when I started doing open mics, and I really kind of like had an ass backwards jump into comedy. Like I started at clubs first, did mics second, and like just doing that, getting in front of people wasn't like daunting. So like doing those bringer shows like early back in like 2018, 2019, it didn't really have an effect on me because like being in front of the audience is not the scary part when you know how to do that. It's really just like writing, and I fucking rap a bunch. So like writing wasn't even hard. It was really just like, honestly, the consistency of doing the barking and going to other shows and trying to like be social was the most difficult part. But the theater was like a huge help. Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. I didn't know you rap. That's cool.
But fuck yeah, dude. Like I released the EP in 2020. Before that, there was a compilation album I just released in 2023, and last one, I hope by 2025 I have my 10-track final album put out. Like,
oh
yeah, like my little I find that to be my magnum opus, just because like I finally incorporated some commercial aspects and me trying to be true. But word, yeah, love that. I love the rap game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
So you're a performer all around: theater, comedy, music.
Yeah. Just
you're going for your EGOT, dude.
Like, yo, son, that's like my tickle me word, bro. Like, I love Lin-Manuel. I love fucking anyone that does that. Like, that's such a, I don't know. It's like a if you know kind of thing. But like, if you can do that, it's amazing. I think John Legend is like a doofus, but he got it, so he's the fucking GOAT, bro.
You might already know this, but it's a fun fact that when I learned it really tickled me is that Lin-Manuel Miranda and Immortal Technique and him went to the same high school.
I didn't know that.
And Miranda was like, yeah, Technique used to bully me, and Technique like cop to it. He's like, that is true.
Really?
Yeah, which is funnier. It's so funny to me that Immoral Technique found the one rapper that was like a bigger dork than him.
Immortal Technique's a dork. Man.
Yeah,
he's a
dude.
nerdy dude. That's exactly what happened. That's fucking crazy. Poor Lynn.
I apparently Immoral Techniques hangs out in Harlem. Like I have some Harlem comics that are like, yeah, like he'll stop if you're barking for your show and be like, oh, I'll come. Like comics have told me like he was just in the audience at their show in Harlem.
That's insane.
Which, by the way, respect to Immoral Technique that he still lives in Harlem, assuming it's not out of necessity.
Right. I mean,
I don't know how, when you're at that level how much money you
he
have.
claims to be like super successful as an independent artist. He does have like the energy of a Black Israelite, so I don't know how much money he really has.
Yeah.
Those guys just seem to hang out outside of Barclays. But
I do wonder because I love his music, but if I saw him, I'd be like, hey, he'd be like, get the fuck away from me.
yeah, totally. Like you do bear the shield of the enemy. So like, man, fuck. But I love it. I know that. I mean, it kind of peers into what we came to talk about today. But I know Lynn based the delivery style of Hamilton on Eminem. Yeah, fucking. That's like a tidbit I take with me forever. Just like every time I hear it, I feel the little pieces of M peer out of those.
Because you have one of the most important Americans of all time and Alexander Hamilton. You know what I mean?
God, yes. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, I really feel like when we look back into like history, maybe 50 years from now, like it's gonna be exactly what he said. He's gonna be like the Elvis of his time, and people aren't gonna be able to cope with that. I know in the 60s and 70s, people are like shitting on Elvis a little bit. It became cool to shit on him, especially in the 80s, and make him a poop joke. So like, I do think he's gonna ride that. Like, look at what it means to be a white rapper forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my god. Man, let me not Bible about M. My eyes get starry.
Yeah, he's you know what's funny now is because he had the hiatus and everyone, when he came back, he was doing the weird accents, but everyone was just so glad that he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Gen Z, for whatever reason, and they're not a monolith, Gen Z, but in general, they seem to think that he's corny.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think because he's 50 years old, because he's white. I think that is part, even for other white people, they don't want to, there's an uncoolness to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here's how I feel. If you're a white person and you're like, I hate all rap except for Eminem, very suspect.
Yeah.
But also if you're like, he's not even in my top 10, also suspect.
Super suspect. Yeah. Because that just tells me, one, you listen to rap like you listen to like jazz. Like if it's on, like you'll play it. This is background music for you. It's not anything that really hits. You're just kind of making sure everyone follows the rules and you're trying to be in the club a little bit. Like, and then when I do ask you who your favorite rappers are, if you're telling me rappers that are kind of like swag rappers a little bit, like they're kind of, if Playboy Cardi is in your top 10 at all, which I feel like you can like him, but for him to be your favorite rapper is weird, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like Fat Man Scoop being my favorite rapper. Like he does hip hop music, but that's not what that's about a little bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. It's super like, I don't know. He is corny because he's like a 50-year-old dude now, but I also feel like the Gen Zers and shit kind of don't like white people that aren't apologetic. And being that M is not that, it feels like he's almost like an enemy, like it's anti. Like I think of like white rappers today, they have to put out there that they know they're white, or they just never talk about it at all. But
guys, check out my new EP, I Know I'm White.
That's a fact. I feel like fucking even Asher Roth, like he died out because like he wasn't playing this kind of like he was still like rapping like he wasn't right. It wasn't like a topic of conversation. He wasn't making like pseudo pop songs to try to fit in either. It's like if you're doing your own thing and you're not feeding this machine of like, hey, sorry, I'm a white guy. Like I think you're not going to be listened to by these younger kids.
It also can backfire though, because there's nothing more cringy than that text from Macklemore to Kendrick.
Yes.
That was the word. First of all, that text in and of itself is I guess I should explain for anybody that doesn't know what it is. So what year was it that Macklemore won the Grammy over? It was over Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes.
And I guess 2012, 2013, something like that.
It was Good Kid, Mad City, yes, because he lost to Taylor Swift the next album.
Yeah.
For Pimp a Butterfly. So,
but for best rap, I think The Heist, which was the Macklemore album, which was fine.
Yeah.
It's not something I would put on, but it does have that, oh my God, it was the biggest Thrift Shop.
Yep.
I remember in college.
And the
everybody's-
gay song.
And the gay song, dude.
Come on, dude.
It's the music equivalent of Oscar bait.
Yes.
like, dude,
yes, exactly.
Not only do I have this, like you said, I'm sorry for being white vibe. Also, I'm sorry for being straight vibe.
Being straight.
He should have had I'm sorry for being a man vibe, and it would have been the trifecta. But he beat Kendrick, which is uncalled for. It was a bad decision that the Grammys made.
I gotta stop you there.
Really?
I don't think it was a good decision.
Uh-huh.
I just don't think it was Macklemore's fault, and he shot himself in the foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I would have done in Macklemore's situation, which was which is this, I would say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy that I won the Grammy. I maybe wouldn't brag about it all the time, and I would maybe ask Kendrick to feature on my next album. Because in that very brief window of time, in terms of mainstream appeal, Macklemore was above Kendrick. So if you want to, do you agree with that?
Commercially, sure.
Yeah. So that would be, it's literally elevating black voices to do that.
Yeah.
You're now a Grammy winner. Have him feature on a song. Maybe a song that you think might be a hit, but instead what Macklemore did was text him privately, I robbed you. So sorry for robbing you, which is, like you said, it's self-flagellating in a way that's unnecessary.
And Kendrick's response wasn't even like some huge response that like it was worth sharing. He was kind of just like giving himself the get out of jail free card. Like, look, guys, I did right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's the weird part, is that Macklemore screenshotted it and then was like, look, guy. And the reason why it backfired is because you could go too far in the other direction, where he was like, look at me being the good guy right now. I'm the good white guy. Guys, I'm one of the good ones.
right.
And that's so, ugh.
And I think it sucks too, because he was in a position. Listen, hip hop is a black genre. Black people don't want to hear advice from white people on how to advance black shit, right? However, Macklemore being an independent artist, he seems to be pretty like well versed with how things work. If you aren't familiar with this, if you want one of your songs to be nominated for a Grammy, it really doesn't take a lot. It just takes your label to put it up. They think they have to pay like a small fee, and there's a voting process. Now, who is in the voting process, right? When it comes to these genres, you actually have people who are elected, and you have people whose votes count for all those years. Now, you look back to like when 50 Cent lost Best New Artist to whoever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? The year he dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. You got to think like, well, who's part of that voting process? Is it 4 76-year-old men and maybe like 2 30-year-old women? Then yeah, 50 Cent's not winning. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the rap like portion of this, who is in that voting process, in that circle? Is it the people you want to reflect the music you think is true? Or is it people that have just had this job and no one really knew how the voting went on, so you just let it go for years on end? I'd like to know who was on the voting team per se from, let's say, 2010 to when Kendrick lost. You know, I think that's your answer right there. Why are you mad at Macklemore and not mad at the people who gave him the award? He was shocked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but that came later. I think as the years went on, like I think 2 Chainz became part of the hip hop Grammy like voting process. I don't know if he's still part of it, but after Macklemore lost, like 2 Chainz was the one that stepped up and was part of that platform now. So like those things shifted, but that's what had to happen. And I just don't think Macklemore would have like put himself out there to be like, listen, blacks, you need to do this if you want to never see me again.
Yeah, that's oh man, it's so, you know what I think of it is, because I went to a Catholic high school.
Same.
Where it was like it was weird because the makeup was like the children of rich kids, the dumb children of rich kids, basically, because it wasn't this prestigious Catholic school, but it was a private school. And then just regular people like me. I remember grousing to my dad one time, and I hate that I did this because it was probably actually kind of rude to him, but I was like, all these kids driving sports cars to the high school. And he just very calmly went, if you had access to a sports car, you would also have one. And I was like, oh yeah.
So what was your complaint? What was your? That's very funny. That is rude to your dad.
Yeah. I without realizing it, I was like, damn, I wish you made more money, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, listen, if I made more money, you'd have one.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking yeah. If you had access to it, and yeah, same with the Grammys. If you had access to it, I mean, fuck. I think there's so many people that. And it's hard because, like, I feel like it doesn't matter. There is a part of the Grammy situation that it doesn't. It's not like you get some grand prize or extra recording money or like a deal to tour. It means nothing. It's just like, but then it can mean everything, right? It is. I think when you are doing art, there are so few real like. What's the word I'm looking for? There's like markers in your career,
Right. Milestones.
Milestones. Yes. There's like so few. Like if you're in the NBA, you get a championship, you want to get MVP, defensive player. Like there's little things, but there's pretty much like 5 to 8 things that you really want to get. As an artist, I think you want to go platinum once. You want to get the Grammy. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, that's the industry calling, folks. They're looking for that EP in 2025.
Yeah. This is Dr. Hollywood, Devin. Give us a call.
It's nice doing what we love, but I would like more money.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started at Broadway, I did a bringer show, fucking killed.
You're talking about Broadway Comedy Club.
Yes, Broadway Comedy Club. Super amazingly mediocre. Fucking anyone should start there. It's fucking great. It's a great place to start. But I asked the booker. I had a great show. Like I did so great. He booked me for like 3 more shows after that. I think like after my 3rd one, I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. How do I start making money with this thing? Like, what do I got to do? And he was like, you're not going to make money for years. And I was like, but, oh, what do you, I mean, I thought I did really good. He was like, yeah, good people don't make money. And I was like, oh,
Yikes.
all right, well, thank you. And then we hung up and man, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. He was a 56-year-old man who just had a baby and he was in no mood to tell me any lie or dream at all. Like, yeah, he's not wrong. Still broke. Still hard. To this day, if someone gives me $10 for doing 10 minutes, I'm like,
it's $1 a minute, baby.
Man, I could not have been
Dr. Hollywood over here.
$1 a minute, bro. If I keep this going, you know what I mean? You start.
But
doing
we were talking about barking outside a comedy club. I have met guys in nice suits with fancy watches, being like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do stand up." So that's the other side of it too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At least that's what I tell myself when I'm freezing my apartment because I don't want to turn the heat on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
How many times have you played that Bill Burr clip? Like, you know, being 30 years old on somebody's couch, that's not failing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. He is, of course, suffering from survivorship bias, but it's still good.
Survivorship.
So
bias.
he made it.
Yeah.
If he didn't make it, he might be singing a different tune.
Yeah. I guess like Artie Lang has a different like fucking view of what this business is, you know.
Oh, as someone that didn't make it?
I mean, I'd say is it making it? I don't know. You know what I mean? Is participating making it?
Dude, I mean,
I know he's beloved, but like,
I don't know. I think, okay, here's my definition of success. Sure. And I'm sure it will change if I ever obtain it, you know, because that's how our brains work. But I think making money from only doing something creative in a way where, like, if I own my own apartment in or around Manhattan, and I only do creative things, and maybe I have a Wikipedia page, but it's like it's constantly in danger of being deleted.
Yeah.
I'll have made it.
Yeah.
I think so anyway.
Okay, so in your list of things you need to be successful, is you being like, I guess, tormented by your own subconscious, like, part of that success? Do you want to solve that before you're successful?
I don't think I'm any more mentally fucked up than the average person.
That's
you
fine.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what is a game changer for me is and this is gonna sound foo-foo, but a part of meditation that was really, because I've been meditating for years, but someone just, you know, someone says something and you're like, oh, this is life-changing. That sentence is life-changing. That you have to recognize thoughts as thoughts. You know, like especially, I mean, it works for when I'm a little gassed up, where it brings me back to reality.
Yeah.
But especially when you have like depressive thoughts.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is, my brain is just, this is the software my brain is running at this moment.
Yeah, yeah.
It isn't me. It's a thing that's happening to me.
Right.
And I could like when I start having negative thoughts, I'm like, I gotta sleep more. I gotta drink more water. I gotta exercise more. I gotta hang out with friends more. I gotta call my dad. You know what I mean? I do all of those things and it helps a little bit,
This is going to seem a little off, but I told a friend this other day. I don't really believe in the astrology thing. I think a lot of it's nonsense.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I've met people who are signs that are just like that sign. So it's like it's like trip. My girlfriend and me have the same birthday. This chick is my twin. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just like me. And we did not grow up together. I did not meet her until my 20s. Like we had very separate lives. But however, I feel like people in a certain group, there's people in the world who are very similar. There's certain people I feel like you shouldn't teach religion to, right? Because like, or even specifically artists, like if you can't like discern and differentiate between what is reality and what may be just like metaphoric and dogma, then like you're kind of like giving someone the foundation to be schizophrenic. You know what I mean? If they cannot separate those two things in their head. So like what you're saying there, like knowing your thoughts are just like passing by and the software you're getting, you're almost told like you are your thoughts and your thoughts can be evil. You know what I'm saying? So like when it's in your foundation to take every thought you're having as like the judge, like a deciding factor whether or not you're sinning or not, it's like, how do you escape that? You know what I mean? So like, I think it's like a blessing that you can realize, wait a minute, like I'm depressed. Let me do these things so I'm not depressed. Where like me included, I find a lot of people are like, well, I'm depressed. Well, this is life. Well, this is where I'm at now. Well, this is me now. And it's like, it's hard not to do that, especially when you feel your thoughts. Like, I think that's something else people like may have a skill in that maybe I don't. Like, if I have a thought, I feel it. And when I feel, it's like reality. Like I'm feeling this chair. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard not to make that reality. Yeah. That makes sense?
No, it makes complete sense.
We shouldn't teach the autistic religion, is what I'm saying. Like,
it's summation. Yeah. No, it's hard too, because I feel like, especially, I have more free time than I've had in my life in a little while, which is good because at least the way I thought it would be is that I have more time to think and be creative.
yeah.
But unless I have a muse and I do not get to choose when it comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like sit and wait or distract yourself with something else and wait. But like in a moment of stress, the negative thoughts will be like, "What's up, bro?
Yeah.
Long time no see, bro.
Yeah.
How are you doing?"
Yeah. Do you ever work on a job you hate and then you're like, if I just didn't have this job, I could do everything I wanted to do. And then you didn't have the job and you did nothing still.
Well, and you know what keeps me grounded is like I still have to, like, I don't have a day job anymore, but I do have to work very hard for money still.
Yeah.
I think what puts a lot of people in danger, and I think this is why the 27 Club exists, is because you have people that are oriented a certain way, artists, whether they're musicians or actors, comedians, or whatever, they're already a little crazy.
Yeah.
And you take the fact that you have to be awake at X time every day away, and the fact that you need money away.
Yeah.
Then they're like, I guess I'll just do a bunch of heroin. You know what I mean? I guess I do heroin all the time now. And that to me is like, yikes. Big yikes for me. I think the best thing that ever happened to me is not being a functional alcoholic, but being a dysfunctional alcoholic where I had to stop at 25 completely.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I will fucking ruin my life with this shit. And I'm grateful for that experience, even though it was like traumatic.
Yeah.
It's like, because you know what, being a functional, I use the expression because everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say it, but I don't believe in functional alcoholism, because I think if you're a functional alcoholic, the best ending of your life is that you die of cirrhosis in your 60s. You know what I mean?
I gotta disagree with. I agreed with most of that, but not to you can believe this if you want. I just watched Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he had Ed Sheeran on.
Okay, my brother.
Well, yeah, and he talked about how everyone in Ireland kind of like drinks comfortably. Like it's a very and he doesn't like that people say they're a country of alcoholics because the culture there is not to drink till you vomit. You know what I'm saying? It's to drink. You know, whether you're happy, sad, or indifferent. Like we're drinking, and their limits there. And even when they start teaching drinking, it's very different from here. Where I feel like I think you could agree. Like America has a very to the limit attitude with almost everything.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there are nations that function under this cloud of alcohol very comfortably, like the French, a lot of European countries. You know what I'm saying?
Oui.
And here, I feel like that's like not the case. So like I get why you need to put limits though, but we also have different relationship with drugs in this country. You know, I think kind of like the Protestant rule that kind of guided the war on drugs kind of aided that too. You know, if you have one party in entertainment saying drugs rule while this other party is condemning it, it kind of always makes it punk rock, and that gives it its rocket fuel for the next like 3 decades now. And now you have like, you know, Zazas on every corner. So like weed is, you know, kind of like we're less sensitive to it. Mushrooms, totally. People take pills all the time. Like the drug thing is kind of like wavering in that. So, but as far as like us here as a nation, like we're kind of taught to like push it to the wall. You know, at least we were for like a long time. I mean, you know, people still walk around with Cobain fucking t-shirts as if he wasn't a zombie before he shot himself. You know, like I get the gun killed him, but like he was killing himself beforehand, and no one had a problem with it. And the other thing you said about like having to stop at 25, like how that was kind of a blessing. When I was like 18, like a month before my 18th birthday, I got in trouble. Like I was facing like 10 years in prison. Like I was like in huge trouble. And then I was on probation for the next 5 years after that. So from 18 to the end of my college career, I couldn't smoke weed. I couldn't touch a drug, anything that could stay in my system for more than 14 days. I couldn't do it. And no one knows this, but like when I was a kid, I would watch these shows that would talk about pill popping and acid and mushrooms, and just like I had planned, like when I got to college, I was diving into narcotics. I was ripping myself out of this reality. If I OD'd, I OD'd. It was like glamorous to me, like dying off that. And then here come, but I don't know, whatever, call it God or fate or whatever, but the actual government of New York made sure that I didn't touch a drug until I was 22 years old. And it was like, that saved me. You know what I'm saying? So my recklessness in one end did save me later. It's similar to, I guess, how like, you know, you hit your rock bottom and you had to just like cold turkey it. Now, it wasn't my own will making me not touch drugs, but in a way that did save me. And I feel like, you know, you getting that answer up front does save you. And then 4 years of probation and growing in perspective, I realized at 22, I did not want to be a fucking drug addict at 19. And thank God I didn't. Thank God I was too cheap to get all the tattoos I wanted to get when I was 17. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes those things happen for reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's a really weird part of I almost feel like 4 years younger than I actually am, because I felt like that part of my life was halted. Like I didn't really get to be a person. Probation's like real fucked up. It's weird. It's like it feels oddly adjacent to like slavery in the North. You know what I'm saying? Like this is obviously lighter than what you could be getting, but this is still pretty bad. You know? And God, it was just like rough. Like every time I even got pulled over, like, and I'm in the passenger seat, like I can go to jail for 10 years. Like if someone else fucks, if I get into a bar fight, I can go to jail for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? If I get caught jumping a turnstile, my probation could be violated. That's insane. For $100 ticket, like I could be gone. So is that freedom? You know what I'm saying? Is that like a life that you really have to your own? I would say not.
So you got convicted of this thing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they were like, you could go to prison or jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
You're not going to.
Yeah.
But if you violate your probation, we could send you to as much prison time as you could do, which is 10 years.
Possibly, yeah.
What did you do? If you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah. I was, it's actually really fucked up. I like sharing it. My family kind of wishes I wouldn't talk about it because I guess it could cast me in a certain light. But I was like the lookout. Me and my buddies had like robbed a kid. It's like we used a BB gun. It was empty and broken. and we took his BlackBerry Red throwback and a pack of gum. And for that, they were trying to push to put us in jail for 10 years. We were 17. You know what I'm saying? We stole gum from a kid. Like,
yeah.
But because of how New York State is with firearms, it's like one of those, like, my hand is forced kind of thing.
Okay.
So they gave me 5 years probation. I got, like, you can't find my felony anywhere. I had amazing lawyers. They worked super hard for me. Like, I totally have a future. I can vote. It's like mad shit. But
you could run for president. Too.
I could run for president. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, they don't unseal that record. But fucking, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, no, but that probation time, I just did real quick 4 years. Thank God I didn't do the full 10. But that judge who gave me that probation, he gave a girl 1 year in prison. And she killed someone drunk driving, and she was my age. And I kind of thought, like, I didn't take anyone's life.
Right.
Like, does this person think that I need this probation to not act again? Or is this all he can do for me because of the gun charge, right? And I think I'll always be kind of torn with that. And this is what kind of always, like, puts it in the air for me too, is that when I got another, like, serendipitous, like, God moment, it was in Nassau County back in Long Island where I'm from. When that week that happened, those 2 weeks that happened, they got into, like, this huge scandal because a good portion of their DNA tests were false. So, like, a whole bunch of other shit that put other people in jail, all that evidence they couldn't use anymore. And, like, a bunch of people were getting out. Like, they had no time to deal with my bullshit. So I was never indicted. So,
okay.
Like, they didn't have to, like, go straight to go to trial and wait a year and do all this other shit. There was, like, room to negotiate now. And, like, that was, like, amazing. Like, everyone told my mother, like, they're gonna indict him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be prepared for that. And they didn't. And it was, like, that same week that happened. So, like, thank God. You know what I'm saying? Definitely learned my lesson there. Thank whoever fucked up in the DNA division. Like, yeah, saved me. And me
You
and
still have the BlackBerry.
Do I never touched it. Crazy, right? I never touched the
I just
loot.
wanted to ask the stupidest question possible. Do they let you keep the BlackBerry?
No, they don't give you your spoils after you get out. But yeah, it was great. And the cops were fucking awful too. Like, not even the cops that arrested us, just the cops at the fucking place. We were walking out. We were like, finally, we're out of here. Like, thank God. Just all my buddies. We're laughing, and the guy looks at us and he's like, I don't know what's so funny. You're going to jail for 6 years. And I thought, like, wow, like, why are you telling a 17-year-old that he's gonna be going to prison? You weren't involved in the crime. Do you just want to clean up your streets of where you live? I mean, no, that's not fucking true. You know what I'm saying? Fucking the mafia owned Long Island until, like, 1986. So, like,
Marron.
bro. You have any Italian in you?
No,
No?
but I would like. You know what I'm saying? This is winking.
Yeah.
I'm winking at the camera.
I didn't know if you dropped the I at the end of your name, if you're a Shihani.
Yeah. My whatever great grandfather dropped the O apostrophe from his name though, which I find kind of fascinating.
So what was it? I don't know why I put it at the end.
Oh yeah.
Shihano. I know.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in Italian.
Oh, Shihano. Yeah.
Oh, Sheehan. Oh, Sheehan. Oh, Sheehan. I like that.
Sheehan means peace in Gaelic, apparently.
Does it?
Yeah, but you can still catch these hands, folks. You know what I'm saying? This is me trying to sound tough after you're like, I was on probation. I'm like, I'm also, man, I curl 25 pounds at the gym, you guys.
Dude,
I'm a tough guy, too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Devin means divine poet in Gaelic.
Divine poet. Ooh, I love that.
And I got bars. I don't know if you heard. Just
Yeah.
rewind 4 minutes ago.
Hey, when the album comes out, I'll post it to my YouTube channel, which might have more than 500 subscribers by the time it comes out.
That's pretty
Yeah.
sick, dude. That's
Yeah.
pretty. I'm still in the mode where, like, if anyone says anything nice to me, I'm like over the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely actually one of the there's a guy fucking some hideous woman once told me she listened to one of my songs. Didn't even tell me she liked it. She said she listened to it. And I was like, all right, let's do this. I mean, obviously you're here for the king.
Yeah, I'll take a borderline compliment from a quote hideous woman.
Hideous woman.
Dude, she's gonna DM you now and be like, I heard you on that podcast. And that's all she's gonna say. She's not gonna say if she liked it.
I'm actually getting cyber stalked right now by a lady.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's from England, and she seems like a nice girl, but man, she found me on Insta, got my number. I
Ooh.
fell for this. This is my fault. This is a real baby deer moment I had.
Okay.
Fucking, she said she wanted to interview me. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, let's do it. She said she'll do it over FaceTime so she can record it. And I said, okay, that makes sense. It was on a Thursday. We said we do it Saturday. And she was like, let me get your number still, though. Okay. And then I found out the truth. I DM'd some of my buddies, called my guys, and found out she had actually been hopping to each of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't think sexually, but definitely like super flirty, trying to like infiltrate this friend group. And it just felt very like nefarious. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
She wants you to fucking. You know what? I almost said storm her beaches, but that would be French.
That'd be French. Yeah.
I was trying to want you to eat her beans and toast for breakfast. I don't know.
What was the one? Peter Pan 2. This is where it took place in the beginning. You got it. They were bombed.
Peter Pan 2?
Yeah. That's how it starts.
I don't know if you'll believe this, Devin. I've never seen Peter Pan 2.
What's going on? You're not part of the Peter Pan saga?
No.
Well, all right.
Although I am a 34-year-old man with roommates. So
You're 34?
I am 33, actually. Sorry.
You're aging like a black. I thought you were like,
yeah, dude.
whoa.
I'm
good
black
for
where it
you.
counts. Credit score. You know what I mean? So
So 9? You have a 9 credit score?
yeah. My credit score has been going down, but that's because I'm chasing my dreams. You know what I would do really well with is old black ladies, because this is going to sound crazy, but this is my lived experience.
Yeah.
Is that if a black woman is old enough to have gray hair,
Yeah.
she will say that I look so handsome with my red hair. I don't know what it is, but if I could get past the age gap,
Yeah.
I think I could make something happen.
Yeah, I think that there is truth to that. Yeah. Older black ladies also compliment me a lot.
Ooh,
a lot.
okay.
Younger black ladies have been calling me corny since I hit puberty. So, yeah, I was the Lin-Manuel of my school to like all the black girls. They were all immortal technique to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all great at rapping and they fucking hated me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, we got a few minutes left. Are you a morning or night person?
Yeah, afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
No one ever. I think I can count on one hand how many people have said afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon.
That's when you thrive.
It's when I wake up. That's when I want to do most of my day, and by like 5, I'm like out. So like, whether that means going to sleep or just not leaving the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a short window of productivity.
You're like a hibernating bear.
Yeah.
You're like awake for 3 hours.
Oh, this is a nicer way of saying I'm a poor employee. So like, my day doesn't get started until 1 p.m.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know. So when you do, I was going to ask if you have a morning routine, but I guess a more appropriate question is, do you have an afternoon routine?
Yeah. The longer I go without smoking weed is like a successful day to me.
Okay.
So like,
how long into the day you cannot smoke weed? Okay.
Yes. So if I can go into like the late afternoon without smoking weed, I often get a lot of shit done. So if I can do that, yeah, the routine thing is rough for me because I feel like I was out of my own autonomy. Like I didn't control my own autonomy for a long time. So like now having no schedules feels free.
Yeah.
But also that's like chaotic and your world crumbles. So like, yeah, I brush my teeth every day. There's one.
You got it, dude.
Yeah.
Once a day?
Yeah. I don't believe in the twice a day. I don't use toothpaste. I use baking soda.
You brush your teeth with baking soda?
Yeah.
Is that a thing that people do?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I have for like, since like 2019. I haven't worn deodorant or used toothpaste since 2019. And I haven't had a cavity since then either.
Dude, I'm so jealous because I religiously take care of my teeth and I have cavities constantly.
Stop using the toothpaste. My girl's teeth are breaking down because of the toothpaste she's using. She's had like 3 cavities since we've dated. I haven't had one.
Well, folks, if you want to ask Devin for advice on dental hygiene or ask him what growing up doing theater was like or keep tabs on when the album is dropping, how can they do that?
You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify. The EP out now is Heartbreak Lake, real classic there. Greatest hits you've never heard compilation album out now. Some of the favorites out there, and I'm on Instagram heavy, so you can find me Devin_Lake.
Hell yeah, dude. Definitely do all that stuff. And thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining us,
much,
Devin.
buddy.
I appreciate it.
Great talk, bud.
And remember, folks, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just playing Night Owls. You know I love you.
Thank you.